Paris, France, Portugal, Spain. Maria's on the phone. Good morning, Marie. You're calling from Armonk. Date of birth, May 28th, 1934. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Mary Michele.
Good morning.
I just have a couple of questions. I would like to know what's in store for me health-wise, and also if you can touch on some family matters for me.
Okay. May 28th. Okay, the sun in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius. You also were born at the full moon. So there's this sense of polarity all the time in your life. You know, things tend to come to a head on a regular basis. But the good side of it is expansion. Your ability to expand and to understand other people's points of view is a big one. Mm-hmm. With both of these, the sun and the moon in mutable signs, you're able to do two or three things at once. It was your health you were asking me about specifically?
Yes.
Is it breathing? What is the issue?
Just general health.
General health, but there isn't anything particular that's wrong with your health?
No.
Well,
I've had, family-wise, I've had what I consider a very rough past 10 years with losing family members, and I've had a little problem coping with that. And I was just wondering, would this have any effect on my health in any way, or my coming to terms with all of this?
Coming to terms with this passing of the family, well, you know, I know it takes a long time for those things to work themselves through. You know, the moon in Sagittarius is really about being a philosopher. You know, there's an internal side of you that understands the nature of philosophy, and perhaps, you know, you can find different ways of trying to understand your own spirituality.
Right.
These are things that will help with this idea of passing on. I think, you know, I certainly think that the worst of this is over. You know, if you're still feeling like there's going to be more of this problem with people dying on you, I think
right.
that's kind of the worst of it is over. It was kind of, it came to a head a little while ago. But you're probably feeling Venus and Aries, like, how do you restructure the relationships in my life that are still there?
Right.
You know, it's coming. You're going to be able to do it. There are harmonious angles with the Sun, Mercury, and Gemini to the planet Venus. Your ability to seek out new people is very good. It's very strong. And certainly in terms of money, your ability to make any money this year or have money come to you is a good time.
Wow.
So, you know, I would just give yourself a little bit of a break about these relationships. It's about learning to restructure.
Okay. All right. I'm trying.
I know, it's tough.
Yes.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much, Mary
Okay,
Michele.
thank you for calling. We're going to be back with Mary Michele. Sniffles again. I can't believe this. 241-1310, number to call. We're going to get to Frank and Pat just a couple of seconds away here at WVIP.
In the shadow of a barricade on the eve of revolution, a young girl fights a solitary battle, armed only with the truth. Her musical is Les Miserables. Her love is equal to any soldier's valor, unswerving and resolute. And like the students up on the barricades, she can never win and will never surrender. Les Miserables is her musical. Les Miserables, the world's most popular musical, at the Imperial Theater. Call Telecharge 212-239-6200 for tickets.
And you are now listening to Mary Michele. 241-1310, the number to call. Frank, if you're there, you're calling from Mount Kisco, watching on cable channel 12, date of birth September 21st, 1929. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Mary Michele.
Hi, how are you? Did you have a particular question?
Well, I think I do. I tell you, been waiting a long time to talk to you. A very popular woman. I think it's in the stars that I'm going to be going on a trip.
Uh-huh.
And I wondered if there's anything in store for me that I should know ahead of time so I don't get in too much trouble.
Okay. You have the sun in Virgo, the moon in Taurus. This is a very harmonious angle. Your conscious and your unconscious work very well together. The male and female within you. The sun represents, our purpose, our sense of purpose and direction, and the moon in Taurus is our inner sense of direction. Certainly in terms of expansion, these are both earth signs. Jupiter is in the sign of Capricorn this year. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, so it's in an earth sign. It's about your ability to expand is very, very positive this year. Expand,
As in mind?
Expand in mind, expand by travel. It's Jupiter represents higher learning. The king of the gods, Zeus.
What's the downside of expanding?
Overeating. Overeating. Sometimes one can get confused by having too much expansion. There isn't enough structure to it. It's like it keeps going out instead of taking time to look and be structured in its in limitation. Limitation is always important in life. One has to have a certain amount of it. A balance. But in general, your ability to create that balance is very strong with the sun and moon in Taurus. Mercury in Libra, you're able to, your mind grasps many different concepts at the same time and can consolidate them. Libra is about balance. So
you also forget them. The memory can only hold so much.
Well, the sun in Virgo as a rule is overcritical. Your memory, I think, probably works pretty well. You just want it to be better all the time. Venus in Leo, this is about having a good time. Venus knows how to have fun. The nature of it, though, is that you're the kind of person that will put yourself somewhere so that other people will be attracted to you. It's not so much that you go out to go after people or relationships or whatnot. You'll situate yourself so people will come to you. The only difficulty that you're going to really have, I think, on this journey is going to be with Mars and Libra. You're going to be your energy is going to be a little split. You're going to be trying to do too many things at once with too many people. So the idea is you want to remember to try to stay focused and to do one thing at a time.
Well, that's very good advice.
Okay, thanks so much for calling.
You probably have 4 more calls. Good. I'll see you when I get back.
Okay.
Okay, have a nice time. It's, let's see. There's Pat. I was looking for Pat. Pat was on line 4. Date of birth, March 14th, 1954. You're watching on Cable Channel 12 over in Lake Peekskill. Good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Mary Michele. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. General outlook on the next year.
Okay. 3/14/54. The sun in Pisces, the moon in Leo. Right now should be a good time with the women in your life. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any female children?
Yes, I have a daughter.
And have you seen?
I have 2 daughters. I have a stepdaughter and a daughter.
And has it been a little easier to communicate with them recently?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's a good time. Let's see, Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Aries. Basically for the last 2 years with the sun in Pisces, there has been, in general, Pisces is not a sign that likes structure. Pisces, likes to feel part of that great collective unconscious. Your ability to work with people is very intuitive. Your sense of people is good. And that had been taking a little bit of a beating up until April of this past year. But in April, there was a shift. With Venus in Aries, with your ability to attract people and to be attracted to people, now that Saturn went into Aries in April, so there might be a little bit of a glitch there. You might feel like your relationships are not expanding as much as you would like, but the point is that internally you are. You're learning more about yourself now than you have in quite some time. Are you studying something new or interested in something new? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm trying to look for something to do. Yeah, maybe go back for education or something.
I think it's a very, very good time for you to do that. You might have a little bit of a tough time with structuring the courses or finding exactly the right one. But I would just go with your intuition. Whatever, when you go in to take the course, whichever one comes up that is the most interesting to you, just grab it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for calling. Let's get to our last caller now. That is Laura calling from Mount Kisco. Her date of birth, October 18th, 1965, 10/18/65. Laura, you're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Good. Did you have a particular question?
Yes, I own a business, and I'm really worried. And I'm wondering if you can give me any insight as to how I can get out, or should I get out, or what's my future going to hold as far as finances.
Do you have a partner?
Yes, I do.
It's a little tough with the partner?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't say that it's going to get much easier for a while.
Okay.
With the partner.
Okay.
You're probably allowing that other person more the benefit of the doubt than you're allowing for yourself.
Right. You're right.
I think the only way you're going to be able to not do that is to
get out. Okay. No, that's okay.
It's funny how the two of you said that together. I heard you. I didn't hear Mary Michele, but she was mouthing the same words, get out.
I've been thinking that for a long time.
Yeah, I think that, the thing is that you're probably not going to feel completely good about having left this situation for a while. Even if you leave, you're not going to feel like you perhaps made the right decision, because the nature of what you're going through right now is your ability to deal with partners is being tested.
Oh, great.
So, no matter how you resolve the issue, it's going to be gnawing at you.
Okay.
But I think your instincts, you have the sun in Leo and the Libra and the moon in Leo, so it's very harmonious. And right now, anything to do with children is important.
I've been thinking about children.
Mm-hmm. You should spend time with children.
Okay.
Okay, so, if you can financially afford it, to just go and spend time.
Have one or spend time with them?
Either way.
Okay.
Sometimes I know it's easier to perhaps spend time with them before you make the decision about having one.
I understand.
But, it's a good time for that.
Do you see, just out of curiosity, am I going to be okay financially? I am thinking of getting out of this business. Once I'm out, do you find that it might be the best thing I can do and it'll clear all this up?
I think right now it's a time for you to be learning. It's about philosophy more than it is about business.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Thanks a lot.
Well, thanks for calling.
All right.
Mary Michele, I don't know where this hour has gone, but we have taken a lot of very, very interesting phone calls today. Next week, you had dropped me this note that said the atomic weight of silver, 108. And I don't know if you knew you were going to get this call or what, because John going down to Mexico, silver you can bring in without any duty and the whole thing there. I don't know. We'll talk about that next week.
We'll talk about numbers next week.
Very quickly. I was trying to do my mathematical numbers here, and I come up with, doing 1 plus whatever. Anyway, anything very important for the next week people should know about quickly?
Well, the sun is moving on into the sign of Virgo the end of the week, the 22nd, so we're all going to be thinking about going back to school. It's going to be a time of getting organized, thinking methodically. Anyway, it's been fun, Mike.
We'll see you again next week. Mary Michele here at WVIP Mount Kisco. Good morning. Mary Michele joins us now, taking your calls on astrology at 241-1310. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning. I said absolutely, very, very innocently, are we in another sign of the zodiac?
House.
But there's a house, there's a sign over the house, isn't there? And we are now in Virgo.
Oh, he's cute. He's learning the language, Mike. This is great. House is one of the terms that one uses in astrology, but we went into the sun went into the sign of Virgo last Friday to be exact.
And we weren't here for that, so that's why we're talking about it now.
Right.
General characteristics of Virgos?
Virgo is the sign of the Virgin. It's when you look at the nature of Christianity, the Pisces-Virgo opposition the idea of Christ and the Virgin. The two are always together in Christianity. And basically, Christianity came about, as did all of the great traditions that are still existing today, from Hinduism to, not Hinduism, but Muslim, Christianity. Now, what's the third? Well, anyway, about that time, there were a lot of very, very fine spiritual beings that came into being at that time. So there was Jesus Christ, of course, at 2,000 years ago, and at the beginning of what we call the Piscean Age. And if you go to the Cathedral Chartres in France, there's a beautiful, beautiful stained glass window of the two fishes. One fish going in one direction and the other going in the other. And, across from it or around it, one of the other stained glass windows is, of course, the Virgin. And Virgo is the sign of perfection. Pisces is the total compassionate sign. And actually, we are going to have a full moon this week on the 28th is the full moon, and it will be in the sign of Pisces. The full moon is when the sun and the moon are in opposite signs. So the sun will be in Virgo, the opposite is Pisces, and this full moon will be about the idea of compassion and learning to have compassion and having to understand that lots of times we go for perfection. We forget about compassion. So this dynamic, the Virgo-Pisces dynamic, is we all have it in our charts. Everybody has Virgo-Pisces in their chart. But for the people that have the sun in Virgo, this is a time when they really want to realize that it's not about others or themselves being perfect. It's about learning to be compassionate and caring for other people. It's not that Virgo does do it quite often, but this is what they're gently reminded about. And, basically that's what we use astrology for, as a gentle reminder. It's not to predict. It's more about allowing us to use associative images and trying to understand the way we think in patterns. Most of us think in patterns, whether you're an engineer or someone that works with drawings, which is quite obviously about images, painting, geometry, anything that has to do with putting something on paper is we see that as being an image. But basically, in our minds, however it is that we work, somebody that works with airplanes, a pilot, has certain images about altitudes and heights and north, south, east, west directions, and these are the patterns that replay in that person's mind over and over again, and we all have those kinds of patterns. So, in Virgo, the sign of Virgo is about trying to perfect the patterns. And basically the story of Virgo was that she was, walking the earth, and it is an earth sign, and she was, enjoying mankind and so on, and she got very fed up with mankind and decided that mankind was rarely perfect. So she went up and became a constellation. And it's kind of a sad story in a way, because we want to try to have more understanding and compassion for our fellow man. On the other hand, Virgo is up there giving us something to aspire to. So that's the nature of the sign of Virgo.
All right. Well, I'm glad I asked. 241-1310, the number to call. When we get back, we'll get to your phone calls at 241-1310. Mary Michele here at WVIP.
Once in a lifetime, you find a love that can last for all time. A love that grabs sensational year at the Broadway Theater. Call Telecharge 212-239-6200.
All right, let's get to the phones. Paula is calling from Putnam Valley. Date of birth, August 23rd, 1937. She didn't want us to say that thing.
Oh.
Yes, okay. Good morning, Paula. You're on with Mary Michele.
You had to give the year.
I'm sorry, but you see, Mary Michele, would you hold up the book for a second so people can see that this is done by month and by year? So she doesn't want to give you misinformation, so that's why we didn't like that. You're on with Mary Michele.
I'm sorry. Well, Paul, I'm sure nobody was listening. Nobody heard that last little bit.
Mary, my own son doesn't even know how old I am.
Well, I won't tell him.
Okay. Well, you have my birthday.
Did you have a particular question?
Yes. I noticed that on some zodiac charts that Leo ends on the 22nd, and on others it ends on the 23rd. Now, knowing myself as well as I do, I find that I am some of both signs, Leo and Virgo. Where do I really fit in? Am I a cusp or what?
Well, it is a problem. Inasmuch, do you know what time of day you were born?
5:15 in the afternoon, I believe.
Well, at that hour, the odds are pretty good that you were a Virgo. But you see, the day that you were born, it did change. The sun changed from the 23rd to the 24th. And this book, I deal with time that starts in Greenwich, what we call sidereal time, Greenwich, England. And it starts at midnight in Greenwich. Well, midnight in Greenwich is 6 a.m. here. So according to this book, you are the last day of Leo. But if you're born in the afternoon, you're actually the first day of Virgo here in the United States. And you were born here, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You were also born with the moon in Aries. Now, wait a minute. No. You were born with the moon in Pisces. So you were born at the full moon, which is what's coming up on Wednesday. And the nature of people that are born at the full moon, I don't know if you've ever experienced or thought about the full moon, but people that are born at the full moon will have a little bit more of that polarity, a little bit more of that idea of dealing with opposites and being pulled in opposite directions all the time. And with the moon in Pisces, it's like there's a tremendous amount of compassion in your daily, the things that you do daily, your patterns, your habits. The moon is about our habits and patterns and our mothers, because basically the mother gives you that kind of pattern and habit. So there must have been something about your mother that was quite spiritual, really, compassionate in many ways. It doesn't mean that you always felt that from her, but the moon in Pisces, she might even have been someone that didn't cope terribly well with the real world.
No, she didn't, because I was raised without her.
Well, sometimes I was watching this movie last night on Madness with Diana Ross, and I think that the nature of madness is very, very close to a certain kind of spirituality. And, it's just when you get too much into that other realm, that otherworldly realm, and you can't ground yourself, it's a tough thing. And that might be part of your polarity from time to time. With the sun in Virgo, you're very, very good at details, but then sometimes you just want to escape or go off into that world of total illusion, things that are extremely beautiful and ephemeral and intangible, but, could tinge and err a little bit on the side of lunacy. I don't know if any...
Yeah, I always thought that was because I was a genius.
Well, that's true, too. I think the genius has to recognize and take risks. People aren't geniuses just because they're able to think that way. It's because they will take leaps of imagination that nobody else will take. So... that's what that's about. Mercury in Virgo. So, again, it's about very, very good at details. Venus in Cancer. Was there anything in particular that you wanted to know about?
Yeah. I see a changing pattern of late in my life, and I was just wondering if there are any negative or positive surprises that I can look forward to in the near future.
Okay, well, with the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, all in earth signs. It's about money this year, expansion and money. So, there are issues through January, and money should be forthcoming. Your sense of self-worth should be good. You should, understand the nature of money and be able to work with money more easily. Now, the nature of anything is that if you go after it, it's going to be a little more elusive. But just if you trust that it's going to come, I think the odds are pretty good that there will be more and more of that through January. It doesn't mean that afterwards there won't be too, but it's particularly auspicious, as we say, between now and the end of the year. The only negative thing about Jupiter in Capricorn, which is where it is right now, is the ability to expand in other ways. So physically, you don't want to expand. You want to be careful of that.
Oh, I try every day. Do we call it the Battle of the Bulge?
Well, yeah, I hear you. It's tough. Did I answer your question? Did you ask me a question?
Yes, I did.
Oh, right. You asked me in general what to look forward to. If you're going to make decisions about money, be a little careful with the decisions that you make from the 3rd to the 26th of December. But after that,
Oh, Christmas time. Gee, that makes a lot of sense. That's when I tend to be very passionate.
Well, I think...
about my family, about the grandchild, and everyone that I care about.
I think you'll be able to easily. That will all work in tandem for you over the holidays. Things will go well.
I have another question for you, if I may.
Okay.
My husband's birthday is exactly 2 days away from mine.
Uh-huh.
I'm too close to my TV, right?
A little.
Yes, would you
Okay.
please? Thank you.
Well, it's great because I feel like she's talking right to me.
Well, she is.
Looking at me, though.
Now,
This
Paula,
is
just
great.
so you know, now that we gave the year of your birth, which we're not going to repeat again, can you imagine if it was a different year and the fact is that you would have lost money this year? This is why it's important, just so you know. So she gave you the good one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Let's hope that you mumbled it enough that people didn't hear.
Nobody heard.
All right. My husband and I are born 2 days apart, but a couple of years apart. His birthday's August 25th, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
And when we were in business together, which is how we kind of came together, we were business partners, we were known as the dynamic duo. We think alike in that respect. Maybe because I have some Leo there, I'm very aggressive. He is not. He's totally non-confrontational. But in business, we think alike. We have an unspoken language that works between us. But in other ways, diametrically opposed.
Well, you need to give me his year.
34.
Okay. Okay. All right. So August 25th, 1934. Okay. So he's also born at the full moon. Gosh, the two of you must take a lot of risks together. Have you done that in your business?
No, he tends to be very cautious.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he lets you do it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Lots of times if we have a little fear attached to something, we'll choose a partner and allow them to do it for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the partner can take the blame.
Exactly, right. Exactly. Okay, so Mercury in Leo, Venus in Leo. He's actually a little bit more Leo than you are. There's a tendency for him, he doesn't want to be center stage?
Oh, he's a limelighter in many respects.
Yeah.
But he wants to be cajoled into it.
Yeah. Well, I think throughout the end of the year, your decisions are going to have a little more value than his. You're more in harmony with the universe right now than he is. So if you can make the decisions, I think it's a better thing between now and January, certainly in terms of money. Okay?
All right, thank you for calling. Paula, I hope we didn't embarrass you, I hope.
No.
So we're going to get back to Mary Michele taking calls here at 241-1310, just about 90 seconds away.
Jimmy Lesage's New Life Fitness Vacations at the Inn of the Six Mountains, Killington, Vermont. It's a personalized outdoor fitness adventure vacation experience. Imagine a vacation where you're part of a small group of men and women with a wide range of geographic and age diversity who've come together to renew the body and mind, using the Green Mountains of Vermont as the backdrop. It's a major summer resort as a playground. Imagine breathing fresh country air with a supportive staff of highly qualified health professionals who create an environment of flexibility and support for a fun and rewarding, stress-reducing, total body and mind experience. Imagine an adventure fitness vacation where the focus is on an exhilarating hiking experience for all fitness levels: the advanced hiker, intermediate hiker, and the beginning hiker. Contact Jimmy Lesage's New Life Fitness Vacations in Killington, Vermont, 802-422-4302.
All right, let's get right back to the phones. George is on the phone. Let's see, he's watching on cable channel 12. Date of birth, July 19th, 46. Am I correct, George?
Right.
Okay, you're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, George. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Did you have a particular question?
No, I just wonder if my sex life will improve in July. I mean, it was a good life for me in July or not?
Okay. You have the sun in Cancer, the moon in Aries. During the next month, you wanted to improve?
Yes, right.
Well, you're somebody that's definitely knows how to go out and get it. So I don't think that there's an issue in terms of...
I won't have a problem.
I don't think you really have a problem. I think that, if you're looking to have it improve, that you know how to go after it or make it happen.
Yes. I'm traveling a lot, so it'll be better probably.
Well, it's always, I think, a little more difficult when you travel, but I think what you want to do then is perhaps have someone go with you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure you can make it happen with that as well.
Okay, Mary.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling. Line 1, Tony's calling from, let's see where, I can't tell. Date of birth is March 9th, 1954, 3954. Tony, you're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm from Philadelphia, but I live in Mount Kisco.
Oh, great.
Anyway, my question is, I feel I'm at a turning point in my life right now, and I just wanted to see what my numbers are saying to you.
Okay. 3954.
Right.
Okay. Sun in Pisces, Moon in Taurus. This is a very nice, very harmonious angle. Did you recently move?
No.
No. Certainly in terms of the last couple of years, Saturn was going through Pisces. It shifted in April.
Right.
There was not, it was not an easy time. You were having to structure and start new things in ways that were, or maybe even old things were having to be restructured, and it was putting a tremendous amount of force on you. It might even have affected the skeletal structure, your bones, your teeth, that kind of thing. It was about you trying to create structure or it being imposed upon you in ways that weren't working for you. In terms of finances, though, with the moon in Taurus, things should be definitely looking up.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Jesus.
Has it started already, or?
Well, no.
No.
But hopefully it will be.
Are you feeling a little bit better, a sense of organization and
Well, I just felt like the last 2 years were very, very difficult. It seems like things are changing. My son has moved away, and I'm on my own for the first time in a very long time, and a new love came into my life, and I don't know, I was just thinking I'm at a turning point, and I was just wondering what my numbers were adding up to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely you're on the upswing. The problem is that what happens is that we tend to, when we've had a bad period, a couple of years of a tough restructuring kind of thing,
right,
we tend to not remember that the good part. We tend to remember the bad. So
right,
we have fear attached. And I think particularly as we get older, I don't think you're old, but I know for myself as I get older. that
I look fabulous, so I don't care about being 42.
Well, I'm sure. But anyway, the point is that you tend to remember, you have this, it's like a friend of mine who's a psychic calls it the cellular memory, and the cellular memory will remember the difficult bits. You know, it's hard to remember the good bits for some reason. I don't know why. But it's definitely in a much, much better time for you. So I don't see where the difficulty will lay. Even with this fellow, a new person in your life,
right.
November was a good time. Did he come in around November?
No, he came in July.
This past July?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, again, this is a much, much better time than it's been in some time.
Okay.
So I think you just have to trust that. You know, all of that Pisces energy.
Yeah, I'm just scared to death, actually, right now.
Right, I understand, and
Okay.
and you've had too much difficulty, and it's the fear is, what can I really expect for things to go well? And
Right.
yes, you can.
Okay.
Trust it.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Thanks.
Tony, you sound like a very young 42 also.
Well, I'm young at heart.
That's good. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's continue with the phone calls now. Line 5 is Laura. Laura's date of birth is March 1st, 1969. She's watching on cable channel 12. Morning, Laura. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Laura?
Okay, thank you.
Did you
my question is, I hope it doesn't sound dumb. I've had 3 miscarriages this year, and it's very depressing. I was just wondering, do you see children in my numbers?
Okay. I'm very sorry about this. You know, the past. I can't say for sure, you know, I mean, I'm not someone that I don't like to predict anyway, because I think you really have a choice. But again, with the sun in Pisces, you have had this difficulty for some time with the skeletal structure, your teeth, and being able to form something. You know, Pisces, the sign of Pisces represents the ocean. It's like there are no boundaries. And one of the things that Pisces gives to so many people is that great understanding. But what's hard for them sometimes is when they don't have boundaries. It's hard to keep things in, you know, and literally with a baby you have to hold it in, right? So you with the sun in Pisces, sometimes you might be giving out too much to too many. You have the moon in Leo, which is a fun place for the moon. It is not in great aspect to the sun. It's kind of like you like to perform more than your sun sometimes, which likes to hide. So you're this polarity of wanting to, be in the spotlight, particularly in your daily routines, and at the same time wanting to be in the background and observe and help and whatever other people. Venus in Aries, Mars in Sagittarius. There's a lot of fire here. You're quite a fiery kind of person. What kind of work do you do?
I work for a doctor.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm sure you're great with the patients. You keep everybody up, and probably him too. You're very, with all that fire, your energy is always one about, well, we're going to see the bright side of things. So you may not personally feel that yourself, but that's certainly the what you give out according to your chart. Is that true to you? Does that ring? Yeah. So in terms of the baby, with all of this fire is the sign of creativity. It's about, initially making the baby happen. With Pisces, you will be giving a tremendous amount to that child. What you want to learn how to do is create a little bit more of a quiet, structured place for yourself to allow the baby to grow. You're very good at making it happen, the initial bit, right? And you're very good at caring for them once they're there. Like you're probably good with children. Do you work with children ever?
No.
No. Well, anyway, grown-up children, whatever. You're good with people and inspiring them and so on. But it's that transition bit, that in-between bit where you have to give someone the time to grow on their own. And I think if you can learn how to do that, to find a quiet place within yourself, to grow on your own, the odds are good that you will be able to. It's certainly better now than it was a year ago. But you have to give yourself time. You're probably way too busy.
Not really.
No?
No, I work 40 hours a week. That's about it.
That's about it?
My husband does all the cleaning and cooking.
And she
Sounds to me like you've got this kind of sorted out. Well, is there any particular reason you feel that the baby hasn't been able to hold?
No, they can't come up with a medical reason. Everything is negative.
Everything's negative.
Yeah. That's why I was just hoping you can give me a little hope here.
Well, I think there is hope, and I think you have to keep working at